Hello and welcome to Breaking Down Bad Books, a podcast analysing trashy bestsellers from a literary perspective. Following my breakdown of Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, I'll be digging deep into the raunchy Twilight fanfic turned erotic romance, 50 Shades of Grey. Although I'm not sure romance is the best word to use. Join me every Monday and Friday for chapter-by-chapter analysis of the book that Salman Rushdie said made Twilight look like War and Peace. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, or visit breakingdownbadbooks.com for all the listen links and contact information. I have a feeling that it's going to get awkward, but let's get through this together. Happy reading!
This is where the gaslighting gets really good.
My nickname around these parts is Dead Weight.
I hadn't been considering scissoring.
I'm prepared to travel in time.
We were deep into an Adam Sandler rabbit hole in this podcast. How did that happen? A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I'm Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, that's Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
What were you doing just now, Kurt? Kurt
like that. Like
Kurt
this.
has his hands up.
Around.
Yeah, he's got his hands up, in a fist almost to the side of his face, and then the fist moves towards his face, and it looks like something that you would see in an adult male porn.
Well, I don't know about that. I was waving my arms in the air like I just don't care.
Oh,
That happens in adult porn. It
looks like not to get super crass, but it looked like if there's there's three guys, for instance, and there's two. Okay.
No, wait, I don't know what's going on.
Ski poles, they call it. Ski poles.
Kurt, you would be traumatized.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, no.
That's what it looked like.
Just made some notions. Oh, no. It did? Wow,
yes.
I wasn't going for that.
It really did.
I'll keep sitting on my hands. I don't know what. I didn't mean to give that off. All right. You never know what vibes I give off.
That's funny. And of course, it's the week that we talk about a Hallmark movie.
Well, you know.
That's how we're opening the show today.
Actually, a very good Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I agree. Well, first of all, I didn't realize that the movie we were watching was the one that we commented on in the last episode because we saw the preview for it.
Right.
And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, because that guy was cute, and I was glad to be watching it, and it was a good movie.
And I have to make a correction because I announced it as a Latinx themed movie, and it was not. And actually, I'm even more prouder of the Hallmark Channel for like branching out, because the lead actor, he was Filipino.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with Hallmark. Very good. Keep up the good work.
Was
they're really getting out there too.
The main actress in this, I could not tell, and not that it really matters, but if only to add to the culture at the center of the movie. But I couldn't tell, was she Filipino too? Is she Hispanic? Is she just white with dark features?
I think she was Latinx.
Okay.
And the thing is that threw me off was even in the commercials they had like that the Latin, the ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
They had that music in the background, and even at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the beginning of the movie, I thought maybe it was set in Miami or something. It just had like a very Latin feel.
I did too.
Well, yeah.
I did too.
I don't see color, so when I watch it, but this is coming from me who writes in my notes. White person just talked to the black person, and then the Asian person walked in.
But I was glad. I'm glad that the Hallmark Channel is sticking to their mission and like genuinely making an effort to make changes. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
That's good. They're really getting out there too. I saw something called Good Witch. They're getting into witchcraft, all sorts of.
We've watched The Good Witch.
We've watched that before.
We did?
We watched.
Yes.
It's a series starring Catherine Bell and Jamie Denton. We actually watched in one of the movies.
Yes.
That's the one where they had the pumpkin kayaking.
Yeah, that's
and there were
right.
witches? Are you sure we watched this?
Yes.
That wasn't a witch movie.
No, I remember.
Oh,
Because
no.
Jason is totally 100% right. They had the pumpkin kayaking.
They kayaked in a pumpkin? Like the pumpkin was like floating in the water?
The pumpkin was it was a giant pumpkin, and they do kayak races in them. It's a thing, apparently.
And they were witches.
Yeah.
She was
a witch, yeah.
Okay.
But now it's looking like she has witch daughters, too.
Well, yeah. Gotta pass the
Well, I must have been
torch.
medicated. That because I don't remember witches.
Oh, yeah.
I remember us talking about. I remember being shocked about witches. Oh yeah, because I was saying I was surprised that witchcraft was involved. So, yeah. All right. I remember saying something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, before we continue, Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
Blac Chyna report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
We haven't had much in a while, but Vanity Fair, Blac Chyna is thrilled her trial against the Kardashians will now take place even sooner. This is an article by Emily Kirkpatrick, not to be confused with Kurt Fitzpatrick. Blac Chyna is headed back to court to once again face off against the Kardashian family, and apparently she could be happier about it. The 10-day trial for the Bottles case was originally set to begin on November 29th, 2021. But now will take place a whole month earlier on October 18th, 2021. In a statement to Page Six, Chyna's lawyer Lynn Ciani said the reality star is thrilled that a court date has been rescheduled. But according to the legal documents, both parties are also still open to pursuing mediation before the trial starts this fall. And a post-mediation status hearing has been set for June 26, 2021. Chyna originally sued the family in 2017 over accusations of assault, battery, domestic violence, defamation, and interference with prospective economic relations in regard to Rob and Chyna, her reality show with ex-fiancé Rob Kardashian being canceled. In 2017, Rob, Kris Jenner, and Kim Kardashian requested that a judge dismiss Chyna's lawsuit, though they were ultimately denied the motion. In December, the model won her first legal victory in the case after a judge ordered Boonham Murray Productions, said that many times, the company behind the reality show at the center of the case, to turn over any unaired footage from what would have been the second season of the show. The judge also ruled that unaired footage of Keeping Up with the Kardashians filmed in March 2017 must be turned over, as it supposedly shows Chyna and Rob working on their relationship and co-parenting their daughter Dream. But Rob's lawyer, Marty Singer, previously denied all of Chyna's allegations, also telling Page Six that this ruling in her favor was of no import, since the footage has no impact on the case. However, we have requested Blac Chyna's OnlyFans footage, and she has refused to release that footage to us. A representative for the Kardashians did not immediately respond for requests for comment.
Wait, are the way that article is written in regards to her OnlyFans page, it makes it sound like the Kardashians are asking for a free subscription to Blac Chyna's OnlyFans. We want access to all of her content, but we don't want to pay $29.99 a month.
Exactly.
Right. And are they asking for the OnlyFans as a sneaky way just to look at it without paying?
Well, that's what Jason just said. But according to this, they're trying to say they want it legally, but they're asking for a lot of stuff legally.
So my big question is, I wonder, since she's going to court, I wonder if Blac Chyna is going to have a make under.
A make under.
Oh yeah, well you talked about you picture her having more demure outfits for court.
Right, like a black pantsuit and her hair back in a bun. You know, just
she'll sell it.
Right.
She'll definitely sell it.
And instead of having just bling, like she'd have like a brooch.
Like a pencil skirt.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't know. It's a good photo up for her. So she does have to. She definitely has to put some kind of look together.
Or maybe she'll have like a Legally Blonde sort of a look.
It'll have to be something that sort of checks two boxes. She's going to have to look presentable for court. So she's got a shot at winning her case, but It's got to be
Right.
outlandish enough where if she doesn't win her case, the press that she gets sells more of whatever else she's got, and then she still makes a lot of
Right.
money.
She should get Carly from this Hallmark movie we're going to talk about to design her dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if she's gonna have like fake glasses too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so she
Like-
look intellectual.
Like a what are those granny glasses, but like on a chain.
Right.
Yeah, like a
Right.
librarian.
Yeah.
And just have it set up so that she can shake her hair. She could take like if they're like we award millions of dollars to Blac Chyna. Boom, boom, boom. And then she could like take off her glasses and let her bun down.
Oh yeah, it'll be like a '90s teen comedy. She takes off the glasses, hair comes down, and suddenly she's walking in slow motion, and the hair is just blowing elegantly.
Right.
I think I've told this story before, but I was on a subway, in New York subway, and there was an attractive woman who had those kind of glasses on. And then she got off the subway, and this guy on the subway, he goes, sex kitten at night. The librarian during the day, sex kitten at night.
That's funny.
I do
Sex
remember you
kitten
telling
at
us that, and I was grossed out the first time, thinking like the things that women have to hear from creepy people.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's
here
get
we are.
started on this.
Yeah.
I right in front of me, and yeah, this movie I was very impressed because I was waiting for the dud part, and I was like, hey, there's no dud. This is good. Okay.
I took a long walk through nature today, just thinking about life, and a lot of what I thought about was this guy Matt. I have a lot of thoughts on this Matt.
Okay.
Oh, I thought about Matt too.
I walked through the woods. Thinking, I did. And that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about some deep things, and I thought, then I really started thinking about Matt. I'm going to reveal my feelings.
Oh, I want to peel back the onion on this as we go through the show.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
I'm deep.
Because I thought about Matt and Nick.
Yeah, I thought about Nick more than Matt, but I would think about either one of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So we start off, and I wrote Miami at first, and then scribble it out and put Los Angeles later.
I couldn't tell where she was supposed to be based on the opening shot of the movie, because that was not LA that they showed.
No,
Because they
not
showed
beach
like
in
some
LA.
high rises, but there was like a bunch of water right near the high rises, and I'm like, well, that's not LA, that's not Santa Monica.
No.
I was paying close attention because last week we couldn't figure out where these people were. Last movie, we thought they were in Pittsburgh, Chicago. It was LA. I thought I saw the Church of Scientology building, the main headquarters. Did I see it? That white building. That white building, isn't that the Church of Scientology building?
I
was purple.
don't remember what by. Well, they have a zillion
Maybe
huge
not.
buildings here in
Okay.
LA. They have a lot of big buildings. They own literally something like 50% or maybe more than 50% of the real estate in Hollywood. That like the area of
do?
LA that is Hollywood.
Yeah.
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 LA's not. I mean, Hollywood's not its own city. It's not that big.
Oh,
But I live near the Celebrity Center. Actually, I live in between two Scientology buildings. I live near the Celebrity Center on Franklin, and then there's another one on Sunset, like near further east.
Well, Sunset is like the main headquarters, I believe.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And then they have like more than one building there. Like it's like a neighborhood almost.
And you once
Yeah.
went there because didn't you like first move to LA and there was like an acting class by
Yes, they were giving
Juliette Lewis? Yeah.
They were giving acting classes, and so what they would do is, Jason, remember Dramalog? They would put ads in Dramalog, hey, $5 acting classes. And then they would put like a celebrity, and hey, you can come and meet blah, 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 and take this $5 acting class. And so I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. And I drove to the address, and it was the Church of Scientology. And I started to walk in, and I walked in, and then all of a sudden I got creeped out, and something was just like, turn around, go home. And I turned around and laughed.
I was literally just telling somebody else's story today that I had a voiceover audition once. And so typically when you do a voiceover audition, if you're going to a studio to do it, now a lot of it's done at home and you just send them an MP3, but it used to be like, it was really common to go into a recording booth and record. So you get to the studio, you sign in, you're in the booth, you're in, you're out. This one, I walk in and I'm like, something's weird here. First of all, the building had an Alice in Wonderland theme to it. And the people behind the desk were wearing uniforms, which you don't really see in the casting world. You don't see like, someone has their office staff in khakis and a green polo, but that's what was going on here. And they were like super friendly, also not real common in casting rooms. And so then I get into like do the voiceover and I'm not in a recording booth. It's like a really nice den of someone's house. It looks like that. And they're like, okay, yeah, so we're going to show you a video of like what we're making some new videos. This is for, and they mention L. Ron Hubbard. And I'm like, oh no, like, what have I got myself into? And they're like, oh, well, like, you're not like signing up for Scientology or whatever, but like, we're auditioning for this voiceover. So fill out this paperwork. It was like pages of paperwork, which you would never fill out for an audition. You would fill it out if you got the job. So I just kept putting like, will supply if hired, will supply if hired. And they didn't even have me do a real read in a booth. They're like, oh, here, read these notes off of a notebook. And they're like, we're going to show you a video of like what we're trying to do, but we're trying to contemporize the voice. And so as they're showing me the video the whole time, I'm like, look away. Like they might be, they might be brainwashing you. You don't know if there's subliminal messages. So I'm like just looking down at the notebook, not looking at the screen. I'm just sort of like half paying attention on purpose and just sort of nodding my head like I'm taking it all in because I'm like, I do not want to get caught up in this.
Like, do you think maybe your voice would have been used for like the new indoctrination?
Oh, it absolutely was. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a recruitment video, but they're not going to reveal just like how deep it goes in that meeting. They're looking for an excuse to get you in deeper and get you feeling like, oh, they gave me this job and I've got this career. Okay, awesome. Sure, I'll wear your green khaki, green polo and khaki pants.
Right. Yep. Were they paying well?
Oh, it didn't even get that far because I still to this day don't think it was a legit job.
Hey, that makes sense.
It may very well have been. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that's my opinion. Is it didn't feel like it was going to be legit.
Well, they have a TV studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they definitely film things and record things. This is like almost like they were doing like a DVD or something for home viewing to learn about Scientology or whatever. Like it was something that was going to be self-produced for sure.
Yeah, you could have been the voice of Scientology.
I could have been, but I am not.
There's I went into there's like a little mini Scientology center in New York. I went into it and I just looked at the books they had on the shelf, and the character on the book looks kind of like Tom Cruise, but isn't. Just looks a lot like him. And I was like, oh, well, I guess he'll never sue them,
right?
For doing that. Yeah.
Right. Well, anywho,
we had a lot of Scientology stories there.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah. They're going to come after us and thank them thank us for recruiting for them.
Oh, right. Great.
And then I'll just say, Leah Remini.
Did she appear like Beetlejuice?
Well, no, because one of my friends, like, because there's a part of Sunset where they proselytize as well. Like they approach you to come and get a test. Yep. Like near Children's, like near Vermont. And so my friend says the way he gets them to leave him
Vermont Avenue
and Sunset, LA.
Oh, okay.
And so the way that my friend, he says the way that he gets them to leave him alone, he just says Leah Remini, and then he says like they turn and walk away.
That's funny. Those people were at BookCon. I went to BookCon, and they were there like selling all their Scientology books. They walk up to me all friendly and hi. I was like, nah, you guys don't want me.
Right.
I'm not interested in this.
So anyway, So
Here we are.
we're in LA, and we see our heroine Carly, and she's the wedding planner, and she's like planning a wedding, and one of her assistants is like, you should put yourself out there more, and Carly is like, you know what, I don't want the spotlight. So we've done our Hallmark trope of we've set the theme for the entire movie. And so that's what we know the movie's about, not wanting to be in the spotlight. And so she gets a call from her friend, and she's talking to her friend, but at the same time, she gets a call from her friend, and her friend has gotten wind that that Carly's going to be helping out with a celebrity wedding, but Carly's being cagey about it. But it does turn out to be that it is that woman's wedding, the celebrity, Kira
McCabe.
Kira McCabe. And so...
And whoever played her, she had a very small part in the movie, but that actress was stunning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. And I'm sure we will be seeing her in more Hallmark movies.
I'm sure, yeah.
I have a feeling. So this is probably like her little like audition to see how well she
Well, there was a guy in this movie who played the groom at a different wedding in the movie. And I'm like, this guy looks familiar. It's like, oh, he played somebody's brother in another movie. Like, he's clearly that, like, part of their B roster, but they keep using him. It's like a repertory company.
Right. So maybe this was like her intro, her intro into the company, like her, her. So they're at the wedding planning session, and they're trying on dresses and stuff. And Kira's mom looks visibly upset. And Kira tells Carly that, my mom is bummed out because she doesn't like her dress. And then Carly is like, well, guess what? I just happen to have an extra dress with me, and it's something that I just whipped up. And it turned out to be like this fabulous dress, and the mom is happy. And Kira is happy. And once again, Kira says to Carly, you should become a designer. So this is the second person in like 10 minutes who told her that she should become a designer.
Basically, Carly kept saying, like, I only pick the outfits. Like, in other words, she's a fashion stylist or wedding stylist.
Right.
Which is an art form unto itself.
Yeah. And so she's so then they're at the wedding, and it's at this big, huge mansion. Now that is in LA. How do I know? Because I have been to that house.
For what?
Oh, yeah.
So there is a house. It's in Beverly Hills. It's like near the Coldwater Canyon area.
Yep.
And it's a house, and it is a replica of Versailles.
Okay.
And so my ex, one of my ex's really good friends is like this tech millionaire. And so he had his 40th birthday party, and he had his 40th birthday party at that place. Oh, wow. And you had to dress like you were from the French Revolution. And
oh boy, really? French Revolution.
Yeah. But it was a fun party. That's Snoop Dogg was his entertainment. Mm-hmm. I ended up meeting Matt Barnes, the basketball player. Yeah, it was a fun party. So I've been there.
Where did you get the French Revolution outfit? Did you have like a bayonet or what?
We had to go to like a costume shop. It was like a whole thing. But yeah, so I've been there. It's a fabulous place. It's huge.
Cool.
So, so then Carly gets a call, right? With her ex or someone asking her out.
No, not a call.
Yeah.
He's there. Her ex, Liam, who Sydney, the friend that works at this lodge, Sydney mentions like, "Are you going to see Liam?" So we know that Liam is the ex, and they introduce him here to like ask her out, and he was really douchey, and she's basically like, no thanks, I got other things to do.
This Sydney was really invested with hooking up her friend. What's Sydney's deal? I don't see a bunch of guys around her.
I actually
find out.
I have a theory over who Sydney should have ended up with at the end of the movie.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because Sydney was very attractive too.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, yeah, she was. Yeah.
So then, now this was like in Marin County where she ended up?
So the wedding was up near. The wedding was in Mexico. Kira's wedding was in Mexico. Carly lived in L.A. and the lodge was up near San Fran. So yeah, Marin County would make sense because they showed the Golden Gate Bridge.
They showed the bridge.
Yeah, we saw
it was like
Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah.
So then
like
Carly
California
goes up.
geography here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes to the lodge, and she sees. So then we see the chef. He's very cute.
Yeah.
He's very cute, and so he's in the kitchen,
Nick.
and he's talking to Nick. He's in the kitchen, and he's talking to his boss, the head chef. And he's like, hey, I have an idea for a special menu. And the chef's like, nope, not on my watch.
Yeah, Chef Edward, he was a dick.
Yeah,
Edward,
he was such a dick. Okay,
Curmudgeon.
so my notes I can't decipher my notes. So what happened after that?
Well, somebody says the word foodie because I hate that word.
Oh, why do you of all people hate that word?
I don't like the word foodie. Yeah.
Why? What's your
apprehension? I don't know. It just shouldn't exist. I just don't like it. Foodie. No problem with that.
Do you think it's too broad of a term? Like everyone eats food, so how does that make you special?
I don't know. I don't like the way it sounds. It sounds like Judy, like foodie. Rudy. I don't know. There's something about that. It's just the way it rolls off my tongue. It doesn't sound right.
Okay.
So the next notes that I can decipher is when she's sitting at the table and she gets the empanadas. But what happened before that?
That was basically it. Like, so Nick, the chef, sees Carly and walks over, and he's got these empanadas that he made that Chef Edward wouldn't try, but he's like trying to get opinions of people that are actually there so he can use it as leverage. And he's like, he pushes his empanadas on Carly, not a euphemism. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no. And she finally eats it, and it tastes really bad because he fucked up, and the knife was like used in horseradish and onion, and it was only supposed to be used on one of those things.
Right. And so while she's sitting there, so he's like, wait, I can fix it. And he runs back to get more empanadas. And while she's waiting, she bumps into her old college friend, Jackie. And so Jackie.
Jackie.
So Jackie basically did my worst nightmare because, so she's like, oh, Jackie, what are you doing here? And Jackie's like, oh, you weren't invited to everybody that we know from college is here because they're all here for the wedding. And it was
like weird. Yeah. It was okay. So it was Tiburon College. I don't know if that's the real college. It can't be. Maybe it is. The whole college dorm was there. Like everybody in the dorm. I was thinking, wow, that's a group of people I haven't stayed in contact with. A dorm?
Well, I think that was probably just shorthand in the writing of the movie. I don't think that the entirety of the same dorm was there. I think they were all probably friends from the same dorm, though.
And to be fair, I've kept in touch with a good chunk of my college friends, and we all still get together periodically. So
not the people from the dorm, yeah.
I also think it's more believable here because they were a little bit younger. You know, when they're like late 20s, early 30s, you're much more likely to be in touch with people from 8-10 years ago than when you're in your 40s.
Right. So, so then.
But anyway, these people all got together and didn't invite her.
Right. Everybody was there.
But they did make a point. Carly made a point several times with this movie, I think, to sort of, like ease the audience's sympathy for her. She kept saying, like, I didn't really know them that well. Like, I don't take it personally that I wasn't invited because she claims she wasn't like part of their friend circle. So that makes sense that she wouldn't be invited.
And then she said
she's trying to make herself feel better.
And then she said because she had to put herself through school, so she was working all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so yeah, she said that several times. Like I was working, and I guess Sid, her friend, who's at the lodge, who worked at the lodge, Sid was always working too.
Now, did they say why Carly had to work so much? Did they ever?
She said she got a scholarship. She said she got like a partial scholarship, and
yeah. So everybody else, she just couldn't afford it. Like,
did she talk about her parents or anything though? Because there was something later in the movie. I'm like, wait, did I miss that she has parents that are no longer with us? Because I don't think they ever explicitly even hinted at it.
She mentioned a mother. She mentioned her mother,
but I think she mentioned her in past tense.
Oh, well,
maybe
like your mom would have. Yeah, your mom would have liked this. It was something like that.
Thank goodness, yeah.
Maybe this is part of the all-new Hallmark 2.0.
I appreciate the work that you put into that to make sure that we got that soundbite in.
I wanted to make sure it was in case in fact it was true in the movie. I legitimately don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to have that unjustified. That soundbite. We might get some letters.
Right. Oh, so then Nick comes back out with some more empanadas. She doesn't want to try him. He's like, come on. And then he's so cute that she's like, okay, you're cute.
I have to be honest about this. Those two are adorable. That's all there's to it.
They absolutely were. They had great chemistry and they were so good looking.
Absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
And so he was like,
chemistry?
He was like,
yeah,
right. And so she kept on saying no, and he's like, listen, it's important for me because I'm trying to bring out more food from my culture. I'm Filipino. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, okay. And so she tries it, and it turned out to be really good. It was like really good. And so then he sat there. This part was kind of creepy because he sat there and watched her eat it to make sure she'd eat it. And he was like, well, I love watching people eat my food.
Well, yeah, he's a chef.
She had to eat it.
Yeah.
And so then, once again, like Nick's talking to her, and Nick mentioned something about the wedding, and he's like, or they're saying something, he's like, oh, you weren't invited, were you?
No. I used to watch a cat eat. I'd like feed a cat, and then I'd watch the cat eat, like up close. It's like crunch. So I kind of relate to Nick.
So a girl eating is compared to watching a cat eat.
Well, I didn't prepare the Friskies, but it was, it's an experience watching someone eat.
You're like, I prepared that bag of Friskies.
When you were stirring the Friskies, did you ever accidentally stir it with the fork that you used in your horseradish? The cat might not have liked the Friskies.
No, but I don't know. This cat was oblivious to the fact that I was watching her.
You're eating.
Yeah, well,
Oh, so then we find out though that both of Nick's parents are still alive. He because they were talking about college, and he was like he had helicopter parents.
Oh yeah,
and they were still alive. They're still alive.
See, I thought that they were killed in a helicopter.
Right. So then Carly looks over and she sees Matt.
White Matt.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, he kind of creeped me out about, at least in the beginning. Then he becomes more human later on. We don't really know anything about Matt. He's an enigma.
Well, he went from like, oh, he's really attractive to like, wow, he's really bland to like, oh, he actually seems kind of nice. Like he kind of he ran the gamut for me.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I was thinking when I took this long walk. I was thinking like, you can't just throw a character into a movie just because they're good looking and think that makes them desirable. You have to add something that makes them interesting.
But that was the point, though, Kurt. That was the point.
What was the point?
That
it was a bad character?
No, like when we get to the close to the end and she comes to realization.
Yeah. All right. I guess. I mean,
I think it was a writing flaw. I think in regards to this specific character, they weren't trying to make him a real obstacle, like a real true obstacle for her getting together with Nick, which was going to happen just from the trailers. It was supposed to be like, this is a guy that she's still hung up on because she's still thinking like a college girl.
Because she almost went on a date. See, she was friends with these people in the dorm. She almost went on a date, and everybody knew that she almost went on a date with somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
But they knew because one of the main girls at the center of that other friend group used to date Matt. They were like in love, and then they broke up.
Yeah,
and his next step. Yeah, and then his plan was to go out on a date with Carly, and then everybody knew about that again. But why did it never happen?
Because she had work and she had to cancel.
Yeah,
but she had to go to work. Okay. And everybody remembers that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So,
oh, people don't remember stuff about me like that. That's kind of weird.
But so Matt was like making eyes at her and smiling at her, and then of course Matt walks up and says, "Oh, you're here for the wedding?" And she's like, "No, I'm not
invited.
I wasn't invited." But then Matt's like, "Hey,
I wasn't invited." Right.
But Matt's like, "Hey, why don't we catch up later?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'd love that." And so then,
but she's kind of babbling. She's like, girl with a school crush that can't quite get the words out of her mouth.
Right. And so Nick notices, and Nick teases her for it. And then later she's talking to Sid, and Sid is like, "Oh my God, you ran into Matt?" And then once again, Sid brings up, "Remember you were supposed to go out on that date and didn't go?"
No, she has a lot invested in this. Yeah.
And then Carly was like, "Well, he's probably in a relationship anyway." And Sid hops on Facebook, and his status was single.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
although just words of the wise, that's not necessarily an indicator of one's actual relationship status.
No.
Like you wouldn't have updated it, or
people don't update, especially now. Like people aren't on Facebook as much. People don't update. People deliberately put something false up there. I know people that say they're married. I know gay guys that say that they're married to their female friend on there. Like that's not a real indicator.
I think the only time you have to kind of be a little careful is when it says it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what,
Or if like every one of their profile photos is them and that other person.
Right.
Why are these friends of yours saying they're married to their female friend? Are they trying to pass as straight?
No, it's either like it's an inside joke between them, or they just don't want to be bombarded with ads for single gay people, whatever it is. They're like, we can control our narrative to a point, so we're going to.
I remember for the age, I used to put that I was 101 years old. Mm-hmm. And then Facebook sent me a message saying, "You've got to change your age or take it off."
Mm-hmm.
You might be.
When they were going through that whole, you've got to have your birth name or whatever that.
Yeah, they were really weird about that for a while. And then the whole drag community, pardon the pun, drugged them for it, and now it's not as big of a deal for them anymore.
Right.
Facebook for a period thought I was gay, and they were telling me to go on gay cruises and all kinds of stuff. There's something called like Atlantic Great Gay.
Atlantis?
Atlantis?
Yeah.
Atlantis Gay Cruises. They wanted me to go on that. I was like, I'd be a dish rag on that thing.
So how was the cruise, Kurt? How was it?
Well, I didn't go on the cruise.
Oh.
They finally gave up on me. Then recently I got an ad. It was like,
Mediterranean?
I didn't go on the cruise. Anyway,
Australia?
recently they gave me something.
Alaska?
It was like a dating site for geeks. That's what I got like a couple days ago. So they're still trying to figure me out.
What are you looking at on Facebook?
That's none of your business. They're trying to figure me out. I don't know what's going on.
Atlantis cruises are fun though, Kurt.
Did you do one?
Hell yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I have yet to.
Hell yeah.
I might this year if things are safe enough to do it.
Well, it's fun if you're gay, right? What am I going to do there?
Dance in a box.
True. Yeah.
Dance on a box.
Grind against strangers, as one does.
Hit on the staff, the female
Hit
staff.
on the staff. Oh no, I'm here for the staff. I'm straight.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
They're out to sea for a while.
I have several female friends who've
Oh, yeah?
joined me for nights at various gay bars in West Hollywood and who have left with either phone numbers or dates.
For sure. I have many female friends that have hooked up with hot straight guys out of the gay bars.
Yes.
All right.
Gay pride is a hotbed for straight girls hooking up.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
Because-
honest, it's a
well,
hotbed for everyone hooking up.
Right? Because I had this straight friend and she would go with us to gay pride. And so there was always those few straight guys who were supportive of their gay friends. And so they would go with them to pride and like they'd end up hooking up.
Yeah.
Oh, this should
Yeah.
work out for me. I'm going to keep this in mind.
Yeah. Go to New York Pride.
I do a big pride party every year. I don't know. I probably won't do one this year because I don't think we're having pride, but next year you can come, Kurt.
Okay. I'll fly out.
Oh my God, this is gonna be the second year in a row, Jason.
Yeah.
Well, I hope there's Halloween.
Me too.
I hope there's Halloween.
Well, if you hold onto your French Revolution outfit, you can wear that to Halloween.
Oh, no.
Or to Pride.
I
Bring
have
your
a
bandit.
prediction. I have a prediction. So if this Halloween goes, it is going to be the sluttiest, most scantily clad Halloween you have ever seen in your life.
Or
I might wear a G-string.
yeah.
I guarantee it.
People are going to wear their masks as their thong.
I guarantee it. Oh, yeah. It's going to be nuts. I have a feeling that once this is done, the next decade is just going to be like buck wild.
Well, they've been saying that they expect this to be the new Roaring 20s because everyone has all this pent up energy. I don't know that it's going to go on for 10 years. I will say out of the gate, it will be insane. I think it'll die down after like a year of like, okay, we got that out of our system. We can kind of come back down to earth a little bit.
And all I know, and I'll tell you this, all I know is that I am a new parent to a child that does not need a babysitter. So I will be out and about too.
There you go.
Okay, well, I'm ready. All right. Send your letters.
Maybe we should
invites.
save this conversation to a Lifetime week.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, we started talking about Kurt
great.
doing ski poles. Come on.
We'll be doing some.
True.
That's a perfect time for us to do some live shows. Get started on that.
By the way, and I'll just mention it. We now have our very own Clubhouse Club, the Lifetime of Hallmark.
Yay!
And more about that in the upcoming weeks.
Yes.
More of that. We have a website too. I was working on that a little bit. Anyway, more on that later.
So like Matt is definitely making eyes at her, and she's definitely making eyes back. And Sid is like, well, why don't you see if there's a spark between you two? You know, why don't you just go for it and see what happens? And then she's talking to Nick again, and was it Nick or was it Sid that said no one is their real selves at the beginning of a relationship?
I think it was Carly that said that.
Harley.
I think the main woman in the movie.
Harley. Oh,
Carly.
Carly.
Oh, I think I said Harley. I was like, who's Harley?
So then she's talking to Sid. She's talking to Sid, and she overhears some of the bridal party talking about, like, there was an outfit mishap.
Yeah,
like,
apparently
something went wrong.
The bride was like, hey, you guys go pick your own pink dress. And then they got there and they realized that the dresses are like, they're both pink, but they don't quite go together pink. And so now there's a big meltdown over how to tie them in together.
And so Carly overhears this, and Carly's
I
like,
have another problem.
oh, well, this is what I do. And so she goes over and offers to help. And
how nice of her. She must be, I guess she's a Christian. She must be religious. Because, like, nobody invites her to the wedding, but she jumps in there to help them at every turn.
Well, but that changes because Carly ends up saving the day. And while Carly was saving the day, I guess her friends Googled her and realized that they found out that she did Keira McCabe's dress, which means that Carly is basically kind of famous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now they're playing it down. And
yeah,
so
they're getting the services of this renowned wedding style coordinator, which probably pays pretty well, and she's doing it for free as a favor. And they're like, oh, okay, you should probably come to the wedding.
Yeah. There should have been an extra scene where you see some of the girls talking like, wow, we should have made friends with her. And the other one says, oh, no, we didn't have to. She's helping us anyway. And then they high five each other.
That's dark.
So Carly leaves. She did her good deed and she was rewarded because now she's going to the wedding.
See?
So
karma. Maybe it's karma. Maybe she's a Buddhist or something.
Maybe
karma works the worst.
But why are we approaching this like that should be her desire? Like
she wants to do good.
No, the wanting to do good, that should be her desire. But like the wanting to go to the wedding of these people that she doesn't really know that well, like I don't know that I'd want to do that because then you're like, oh, now I got to get an outfit for this thing myself that I've got to pay for, and I've got to buy a gift, and I've got to give up part of my weekend of like me time being away from weddings.
She's got to give like $100 gift or something.
Yeah.
But this is going to get her closer to the man that she wanted. It's going to get her because Matt was going to all the activities too. So, hey, it was like win-win as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But, so then after she's done helping the ladies out, she goes back to the front desk to talk to Sid, and Nick is there. And so Sid is like, hey, Nick, I want to introduce you to my best friend, Carly. But then they already knew each other. And so then, they're happy, they're chatting, they're having fun. And then Matt walks by again. And, didn't Nick, what did he say? Like, the 3 questions you need to know are chicken, beef, or veg. At first, because she was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to go to the wedding. I'm not sure if I want to go. And Nick is like, well, the only answer I want from you is chicken, beef, or vegetarian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think it was chicken.
So then she's hanging out in the lobby, and then Nick sends out a special dish just for her, like special hors d'oeuvres just for her. And
is this when Matt came out in that ugly purple shirt?
I believe so, yes.
Because Matt was a very good-looking guy, and purple rarely looks bad on anyone, but for whatever reason, that is not his color. It looked so weird on him.
Right. And so there's like this whole dessert platter. So I guess it was like a dessert cocktail hour for that.
Yeah, they were having a barbecue in the hotel. That's what they called it, but it was like a pre-wedding gathering.
So then we find out that Nick made the desserts too. And I guess, Carly's trying them out. They're really good. And so then Nick is like, oh, by the way, everybody's Googling her. And he's like, by the way, I Googled you too. Mm-hmm. So I know that you're famous. And so then Matt walks up. Nick is kind of giving her a hard time, like teasing her.
This whole movie, poor Nick is self-cock-blocking. The whole time he's like trying to help out Carly, but basically play like Cyrano here and make it happen with Matt. I'm like, dude, you're clearly into her.
Right. And it's like, you're really hot. Like, you don't even have to try.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was his MO.
Like, you didn't have to try. So then, this is when we find out about, Matt asks her if she's coming to the barbecue. And then Nick tells her, say yes. And so she says yes. But then Nick is like, Carly, you need to chill. Don't try so hard. Because she would get tongue-tied every time Matt would walk up. Like, she'd get goofy.
Yeah. She did this, like, weird, awkward wave.
And that's the thing, because she was very pretty. She was a very pretty woman.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous.
Very short, though. She was like, whenever she was next to Sydney was, like, towering over her.
And
like
Matt was super tall. Matt and Nick actually were both tall, but Matt was super tall. And so when you would see her next to Matt, it was like 2 feet difference.
Yeah, it looked like that movie My Giant with Billy Crystal.
So then Carly and Nick decide to become friends. They're like, let's be, we get along anyway. Let's be friends.
Oh, that's nice.
And so then we find out that Nick, basically, the only reason he's pretty much sticking it out there is because he wants to take over for the head chef when he retires. But it's not looking like he's going to retire anytime soon. And so then Carly is like, well, I've been eating your food. It's really good. Why don't you just open your own place? And so then, and then Carly was like, I can help you. She's like, I've got a lot of connections. I can hook you up with people. And so he was still kind of like cagey about it. So then the next day is the barbecue. Carly says that she feels bad about going because she's not in the wedding party. But Sid is like, well, no, you're invited, so just go. And you're going to see Matt anyway, so go. And so
we should talk about Carly's drink of choice.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't drink alcohol. Yeah, she drank
soda water.
She drank soda water
with 5 maraschino cherries.
Yes.
Which she called a garnish. Is that really considered a garnish?
Yeah.
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 Really?
Yeah.
There drinks have garnishes? I always thought a garnish was like parsley on something.
Well, like if you order, say, like a vodka soda that comes with lime, that's a garnish.
And it's gauche to eat a garnish. It's wrong. I always squeeze that little orange.
You sound like we're
lime.
doing a what is it? A My Fair Lady. It's gauche to eat a garnish.
It's gauche to eat a garnish. I didn't know this. I must be unrefined because I'll squeeze that lime or that orange. I love it.
I absolutely will too.
Well, I think it's gauche to have like 10 limes.
Well, I don't do that, and I don't eat a cherry. I don't like cherries at all, so I'm not into that.
And so here's the thing: I don't drink. So when she was talking about that, I was like, maybe I should try that the next time I go out.
With 5 though, see, it was
yes,
like fine, drink your soda water. Although it was a little weird that it was like plain soda water and maraschino cherry. Like you almost at least expect like 7-Up.
Well,
it's weird that she asked for the 5 cherries, but unfortunately, it's the realm of weird that I live in, so I can't really criticize her. It's
Well, you know what I'm going to do? The next time I go out, I'm going to order a club soda, and not with 5 maraschino cherries. I'll ask for 2, just so I don't look crazy. And I will report back and let you know what it tastes like.
Yeah, let me know.
I think specifying the number of maraschino cherries you want with your club soda makes anyone look crazy less.
Okay, well then I'm crazy.
I think
So
I think if you ask for like a club soda with maraschino cherry, like that's not crazy. But if you're like with 2 maraschino cherries, so something about the specificity of 2 is like a little bit too weird.
Okay, so I'll go to High Tops or I'll go to St. Felix and say, can I have a club soda with maraschino cherries, please?
Can I have a maraschino cherry with a club soda on the side? Right. Is that what soda water is? Is a club soda? Because she asked for soda water.
Yeah, they're considered one and the same when you order it at a bar, but there is a club soda. Is club soda. Soda water could be club soda or it could be seltzer water. Usually, if it's out of a gun at a bar, like the soda gun, it's seltzer water.
Okay.
But club soda, you generally, that's bought in the bottle. Seltzer, I think it's club soda one of them has sodium.
Yeah.
Club soda has
tonic
sodium.
water, which is nasty.
Yeah.
Tonic water.
Tonic is nasty.
Well, tonic is literally a medicine.
Yeah.
Can cure Charlie horses.
And it tastes like it.
Well.
Did I ever tell you I once saw, this is on New Year's Eve several years ago, I was at the grocery store near where I live, and I'm like walking down the soda aisle because I was buying club soda, and I look down, and my friend is rounding the corner towards me, and I look my friend dead in the eye, and I point to the woman knelt down in front of me at the club soda comparison shopping, and I'm like, Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks was comparison shopping club. She wasn't kneeling, she was like crouched down. And she was like comparing the generic versus like the name brand because they're like $1 difference and they're the exact same thing.
But good for her. She watches her pennies.
Absolutely.
Oprah said she did that. I remember some years ago. She was still wealthy, but years ago she said she'd go in the store and she had to buy a rug, and she was putting all the rugs out to decide. She couldn't decide which one to spend money on.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
It was like Walmart.
That's a lesson.
It was like Walmart rugs.
That's a lesson. You gotta watch your spending. Times are tough.
But Oprah's a billionaire.
True, but hey, that's why she's a billionaire, because
that's why she's a billionaire.
She makes
Steb and pay.
Right? She's friends with Susie Orman, and Susie Orman probably yells at her if she spends too much money.
For sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, this part was sad because Nick and Carly were talking about their past relationships, and Nick told Carly that the past few women that he dated told him that they were tired of him being a banquet chef. Yeah. And that they wanted more. I was like, oh, that's sad.
I guess these are women with some high standards. Like they know what they want and they don't want that.
Right.
But then don't date him to begin with. If that's something that's important to you, A, you're an asshole, but B, okay, then this isn't the guy for you.
It was an honest job. He was good at what he did.
And he had aspirations to grow beyond his current status.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to think that too. Yeah, I used to think that too, that that was a really a shallow thing. But somebody set me straight. Now they explained that, some people, they want a certain lifestyle, and they're like, look, I'm not sticking around for you're a banquet chef, and that's not what I want. I don't want to live that kind of lifestyle.
I'm not judging hey, this is something that I'm going to want out of a relationship. I'm judging the getting into a relationship and then deciding that, hey, this still isn't enough. Going into the relationship what that person's status is, and you can decide then and there whether or not you're going to move forward.
Right. And then he had a reason why he was staying there. Because, he was basically trying to hold out until that guy eventually retired.
Yeah. And also he mentioned his grandmother was in assisted living or whatever. And so he needed a steady job that wasn't going to go away to make sure that she was taken care of.
Yeah, so then it's extra
that's nice.
He's doing it for good reasons.
Yeah. Couldn't those women have appreciated him for being a good man
and hot
and ladies? And ladies, look at the fact that he's taking care of his grandmother. That means he's going to take care of you.
Yeah. Look, he's hot.
Ooh.
And really, that's all you need to know. He was really hot.
Really hot.
I thought you said he was hung.
He might be.
I hope.
Well,
we both answered at once. Like, I hope.
Yeah.
So then,
If he and Matt were side by side, Kurt, would
no.
ski poles?
I did not. That's not what I was. That's not what I was going for. So I don't know what's going on here. Now I'm really good. Now I'm going to start those. Going to get those ads again. From Facebook
Yeah, for sure.
For the cruise, the Atlantis cruise, whatever it's called.
right. Oh,
Yeah, here
so
it
then
comes.
Matt. So one of the things that I liked about this movie is nobody was douchey. Nick wasn't douchey. Matt actually wasn't douchey. Like, everybody was actually, like, nice.
The only douchey one, and he was in it for a split second, was the ex-boyfriend Liam.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
douchey. Yeah. But in the main cast of characters, they were all nice people.
Yeah. That's pretty
Yes.
standard for Hallmark, though. They don't usually have a true villain.
Right. And then because even the girls in the wedding, the bitchy girls, they weren't bitchy.
I guess they weren't douchey. Yeah.
They were nice. They were nice too, though.
Yeah, they were trying to include Carly.
All right. Well, not in the beginning.
Because this next part where they were like, one of the girls is like, "Hey, let's take a picture with all of the ladies from the dorm," and then Carly's like, "I'll take the picture," and they're like, "No, you're one of the ladies. Come take a picture with us."
The bride. I'm reluctant to say this because it's not nice, but I know this is a comedy show. But
I'm like, uh-oh.
the bride was peculiar looking. She looked a little like the alien from the Twilight Zone episode "To Serve Man." I'm sorry. To Serve Man. It's season 3, episode 24 of the classic Twilight Zone. She had a very large forehead. Like I said, do the right thing. It was an 8 head.
An 8 head.
Wow.
But look, this is a comedy show, and sometimes I have to point these things out.
You know what's funny? I was at a clubhouse. Okay, so this is the second reference to a forehead that I saw today, because I was in a clubhouse room earlier, and one of the women from one of the shows was described as having a 6 head.
Oh, it's 6 head, yeah.
But now you're like an
Well, I'm not
8
going to do this anymore. I don't think it's worth the laugh because I feel like I'm being mean. I shouldn't say this. She's probably a lovely woman, and here I am saying that she's like the alien in the classic Twilight Zone episode "To Serve Man" from season 3's episode 24.
I like how you're like, I'm not going to say it anymore, but let me be specific exactly about what I'm not going to say, and then you said it again.
Make it a double feature. You watch this podcast. No, make it a triple feature. You watch this movie, do the podcast, and then watch the Twilight Zone episode. Oh God, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I feel bad already.
So,
I support you,
so,
Kurt.
so then, I
support
you
it?
too, Kurt.
I support you.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll continue then. That's all I needed to hear.
I support you too. Oh, so they were like, "Hey, take the picture," and they're like, "No, get in the picture with us." And so they're like, "Hey, we'll get Matt to take the picture." So as Matt was taking the picture, he was taking the picture with Carly's camera, and a text from Sid came through about Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Humiliating. He sees the text. He hands it to her. That says, "Have you talked to Matt yet?" Oh man, her face is red as a beet.
It was humiliating, but at least he was into her, and so it wasn't as humiliating.
I mean, it would have been somewhat humiliating if you're Carly, but at the end of the day, it served as a nice icebreaker between the two.
What if What if he just saw the text and just looked disgusted and just
right?
Just be horrible.
Right. Because at least this was kind of like for him the green light to step it up.
Yeah.
So
No, he knew he was in. He knew that she was talking about him. It was an easy road for him at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And
He
then
had to do anything.
And then it worked because then he was like, hey, well, let's sit together at the wedding dinner. Let's sit together.
Yeah. And it was like nice the way he asked it, as I was like, okay, he's not being a douche. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, is he the last man on Earth? Because it seems like all these women are like, oh, man. Oh.
I have a theory.
You know the dudes? Yeah.
I have a theory. Well, it was more of these were women of a certain age, and and he was a nice guy who was obviously gainfully employed, attractive, good personality, and so that's, the older you get, the harder it is to actually meet someone.
It was definitely a sense of like, okay, this is a prime cut of meat. We're going to be fighting over this.
Especially for women at a certain age, and this is not a diss, and I've heard this from my female friends who are around my age. My female friends who are around my age say that it's harder for them to date because guys that are age appropriate want to date younger women.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the fact that he was actually into Carly, an age appropriate woman, that was probably a turn on to all the rest of the women too.
Okay. They weren't that old though, these ladies.
No, they're like their early 30s maybe, if that.
True, but
All right.
And I have female friends who are in their 30s who are like, uh-oh, I better, I better do something, even though it's not, they're not old at all.
Mm.
Right. Better do something.
Oh, so then there's like another event happening, and then Nick, meanwhile, is teasing Carly like, hey, did you talk to him yet? And then we find out that Carly got Nick a cooking gig for a wealthy friend.
Mm.
And so she's like, my friend wants you to come over and like cook for her next week. And Nick didn't look too thrilled about it. And she even said, wow, that wasn't what I was expecting. Because the thing is, she got him this cooking gig, and this would be a potential investor for his new restaurant.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's why he wasn't that
it?
thrilled, is because he wasn't looking to open his own restaurant. She was pushing him into, like, they just met a couple 2 days ago, and she's already like, hey, I've got you an investor for that restaurant that you've told me that you don't want to open.
True. That's a lot of work too. He's got to put together a whole prospectus and business plan. Unless he wants to order one of those $1 pizza slice places.
I think you still need a business plan for that.
You got to get your act together to do that too.
So then it was like another event with food, but then he whipped up like something special for Carly. And while he gives it to her, but then the head chef comes out and tastes his food and gets mad because he used flavor in the food.
Yeah, no flavor in your food.
And so she was even like, wow, what a douche. He's getting mad because you added flavor to the food.
You dick.
To a salad.
Yeah. So then he made her pork and with sesame oil. But he didn't say there was sesame oil. But when she bit into it, she realized that there was sesame oil because she had an allergic reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, start breaking into the hives.
Yeah.
It was a pretty mild reaction, though, for a food allergy. Like, if this had been a Lifetime movie, this would have been the thing that would have killed somebody on purpose.
Oh, she would have been in anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, that allergy would have been used against her in some way to kill her or try to kill her.
I thought her head... Yeah. No, I thought her head would be inflated like a Macy's Thanksgiving parade thing. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, but instead it was just like she had like mild rosacea.
Yeah,
she had like a little blotch, and
red.
he went to touch it, and then they had a moment.
Yeah, because he like sort of The hand caressed the cheek.
And then they had a moment. They looked at each other.
Or the see
And
her
I was like,
head blow.
he's in. He likes her. And so then, they're out. Carly and Lily, who's another one of the girls, but I forget the other girl's name, and Matt, they're all sitting around roasting marshmallows.
It reminds me of the Munsters. Lily.
Lily.
There's an episode of the Munsters where where these people are trying to. I'll make this quick because I know we don't want. Munsters, they're like these people are trying to delay Herman, and so they're like, oh, would you like something? Would you like a drink? Would you like a sandwich? He goes, actually, I'd like a hot fudge sundae. So then like there's a time lapse, and he's eating like 20 hot fudge sundaes, and he goes, well, I have to go home now for dinner.
I was out with a friend a few months ago and may have partaken in some marijuana, and I was like, I wanted to talk about Fred Gwynne, and I think I even posted something on Twitter like Fred Gwynne hot or not, and I took like a poll. Or I may have compared Fred Gwynne, but I had like photo, and people are like, "Who is Fred Gwynne? What are you talking about?"
Oh man,
what were the results? What were the poll results?
He was not voted hot.
Okay.
Well, this is a safe space to talk about Fred Gwynne if you ever want to talk about him.
Yeah.
Darn.
I think I compared him to a more contemporary, more traditionally contemporary hot actor, and I was like Fred Gwynne versus like a Brad Pitt or something like that.
Oh, come on, that's
tough.
I agree, Kurt. It's not cut and dry, Les. That's tough. Fred Gwynne fucks.
Yeah, you got to put him against like older.
No.
Anthony Quinn. Old Anthony Quinn.
This is like a no time frame sex bracket.
Like put him up against John Aston Gomez or Major Nelson.
I think pitting Fred Munster against Gomez is too on the nose. I think
Darren Stevens.
Which one?
Yeah.
Both.
Oh, so do the two of them count as one?
I'm trying to think who else you could put him against. I don't know. I got Zorba the Greek on my mind. So yeah,
Mike Brady, Dr. Welby, MD,
Marcus Welby.
Wow.
Right.
Oh
Warren Cleaver.
It might have been Fred. It might have been Fred Gwynne and Pernell Roberts.
I don't know who that is.
Right?
Who's
Pernell Roberts
from Bonanza.
But he was also on the show Trapper John MD.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
So Trapper John was a character on MASH, and then they did a series that was set in present day that starred a different actor as Trapper John.
I got it.
You could put him up against like Lou Grant.
Yeah,
I got one. Vic Tayback.
Who?
Yeah,
that's the one. Vic. Who's hotter, Vic Tayback or
Fred Gwynne?
Fred Gwynne. He's hotter. Okay.
Yeah, he's got that jawline.
He's got what, jawline?
Yeah, he's got that like really, really defined jawline.
Yeah.
You put it like Fred Gwynne against Gilligan.
I'll take it further.
Gwynne again.
Vic Tayback or George C. Scott.
Vic Tayback.
George C. Scott. I think he's so crazy. I'm gonna go Tayback on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Big Tayback.
Vic Tayback.
Okay, I love that.
This is the stupidest fucking game show ever. It's hot or not, but with like old timey kind of celebrities.
Fred Gwynne or Gomer Pyle.
I'm gonna go, even though we know Gomer plays for our team, I'm still going Gwynne.
Okay, Fred Gwynne or Andy Griffith.
Oh. I'm going to go Andy Griffith. I feel like he'd be kind in bed.
Fred
Kind of
Gwynne.
bad.
Why are we
Don't you
still
want?
playing this game?
Fred Gwynne or Jed Clampett.
I have a really disgusting visual that I'm not going to convey, but I'll go with Gwynn and let's move on.
Man, I guess
Jethro Bodine didn't go.
Who's Jethro Bodine?
You know who Jethro Bodine is from Beverly Hillbillies?
Bill Hillbillies. Oh, his name was Bodine?
Yeah,
I'm going to
Jethro
go with,
Bodine.
what's the name of the secretary?
Miss.
Yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
keep
about.
saying
Yeah.
Nancy Culp, and it's not Nancy. That's her real name.
Lily Tomlin was played the
And
role in
she'd
the
go,
movie.
right, Chief?
Yeah, her.
Her?
Yeah, her. I'm going to go with
Right,
her.
Chief?
You're gonna take her? Okay.
I was like, Nancy Culp, and I'm like, no, that's her real name.
Her name was Nancy
Anywho.
Culp. Okay.
Anyway, so then Carly, so they're sitting around the table making s'mores, and you could tell that Matt was paying attention to.
I'm laughing at the absurdity of how long we just talked about Fred Gwynne on this podcast.
Well, I thought
Miss Hathaway. Her name was
Miss Hathaway.
Jane,
That's it. Yeah,
Jane Hathaway.
Yes.
I was trying to keep it tight. I wanted to say my little anecdote about the Munsters where he's eating all the hot fudge sundaes because I love that.
Oh no, I'm glad that we did. I just
And
I
then
love the
then we kept going and
absurdity.
going with it. I would have
just
taken my
happy-
time with that hot fudge sundae story.
I'm just happy because I remembered Miss Jane Hathaway's
Miss
name.
Hathaway, yeah. and she ran for office, like in California. She was running for like Congress or
Against
something like
Buddy
that.
Ebsen.
Well, no, Buddy Ebsen did a commercial against her. I don't know if he was running against her, but he did a commercial where he goes, Miss Jane is real liberal.
What the hell? I don't know any of this.
Yeah,
I
she's running for
remember that.
office. She's running for office. Miss Jane is real liberal.
So anyway, they're making s'mores. And so Matt is into Carly. Carly's into Matt, but Lily keeps on giving looks. And she's not mean or anything, but she's giving looks like looks of disappointment. And so then they're all getting ready to leave. Carly like saves her s'more, like she wraps it up and stuff. Matt asks her if she wanted to go for a walk, and she's like, "No, that's okay. I'm gonna go home, go to bed."
Cool.
Yeah, played it very cool. But then she tells Nick the reason why she wrapped up her dessert is because she has a quirk. She likes to take her dessert home alone and eat it and savor it. And sometimes, and then she was talking about like, she wanted a little fork, or sometimes she used a little fork.
Yeah, she likes
does.
a tiny fork. I think it's a quirk, yeah. I don't think it's a quirk to take the dessert home with you. I think the quirk, at least to me, was I like to savor it when I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
Is it a quirk or an illness?
I mean, you know,
It's a quirk.
Maybe they're both.
it's all in the framing.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess so. I think I'd get along with this woman.
So then, yeah.
Because
so
of
then
her
Nick
love
is
of
telling her,
desserts?
Play it cool.
Huh?
Because of her love of desserts?
Yeah, but I eat a dessert in
Hey.
a restaurant. I don't eat it at home.
Right.
I eat it at home in the restaurant.
Because you know she'll probably eat cake very slowly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Oh, so then Sid and Carly are walking down the street, and she sees Lily in one of the boutiques looking for a new dress.
Lily.
And so then Carly goes into the store. She's like, Sid, I'll see you later. She goes into the store and she offers to help Lily pick out the dress. And she
You've got to stop saying the word Lily, Celeste. You've got to stop saying Lily because Kurt's just going to laugh every time.
Lily.
She picks out a red dress for you know who.
Who's that?
So then we find out that you-know-who is a nurse.
Oh, yeah, she's an ER nurse.
Yeah. And so she was like, wow, Carly, I wish I had your talent. And Carly's like, no, you actually are the one with the talent. You help people.
That was actually a really smart choice in the writing to just drop that in very casually. Oh, by the way, this woman who might be a threat to what Carly wants, i.e. she's making a connection with Matt, let's make her infinitely more likable immediately by making her an ER nurse. Like, oh, she's selfless. Right. We have to like her now.
Right. And she did look very kind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then Carly's at the farmer's market, and she runs into Nick, and then Matt shows up. And so, no. She ran into Matt, and then Nick showed up, and because Matt invited her to go to a food truck, and then Nick showed up, and Matt's like, "Hey, you want to come too?" Mm-hmm. And then I love that Nick was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." So they all went to this food truck. And so they decided, so they decided to have like a hot wings. It was a hot wings truck.
Yeah, and they have like a fire challenge where you eat like the super, super, super hot wing. And if you could do it, you win a free hat.
Yeah.
That's great. Well,
so they all got hot wings.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the two guys went first, and they couldn't. And they ate it a good amount, actually.
Yeah.
They ate it, but then it got really hot, and they had to stop.
What?
And then Carly.
It was played like comedically. It was played like a dick measuring contest. It was like these two guys who are clearly both vying for Carly are trying to show off, like, "Hey, I'm a big man, and I can eat this spicy wing."
Yeah. So they're both like sweating it out and suffering, and then they both give up. And like I thought it was funny they brought them out milk.
Yeah.
And then
they had a lot of sweat. Yeah.
And then Carly's like, "Okay, so it's my turn," and just laps it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I appreciated the attempt at a solid comedic scene. Like they really. I don't think I've seen too much of that where they really try to do comedy. I mean, I wasn't really laughing, but.
I agree with what you say, though, because I feel like they refer to these movies as romantic comedies, and I'm like, they're romantic, but are they comedies? Not really.
Oh, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely was a solid. It was a good attempt.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so she ate all of the hot wings, and her excuse was, "Well, my dad used to always make really hot wings, so I grew up eating hot wings."
She got a hat.
So then Nick and Carly are walking, and Nick is like, "Carly, you should really be yourself around Matt. You should just be who you are, and he should accept you for who you are. And by the way, you should be designing your own clothes too." And so then they walk by this cafe, and he was like bummed because I guess he liked the cafe and it was closed down. And then Carly's like, "Well, wow, that looks like the perfect place for a restaurant." And so then he tells Carly, well, he tried to open a restaurant once, but it didn't work out. And then that's where he tells us that he pays for his grandmother's assisted living, and so that's why he needs a steady job with a steady paycheck.
Yeah. Health insurance covers part of it, and then he covers the rest.
So then
I don't know why I feel like I need to find that out, but there you go.
So then he says, well, I need to go back and make a charcuterie board for the party tonight. And then Carly gets all excited, like, "Oh, a charcuterie board. Oh, my God."
I don't know what that is.
Cheeses and nuts and crackers, basically.
Like in ham and, turkey and olives or grape leaves.
It's a cheese platter for the table as opposed to a big party cheese platter.
Oh, okay.
And so since she loves garnish, she was just like beside herself.
A table of garnish.
Yeah.
So then, so then they were having a contest, and the winner of the contest would win a dinner for two made by Nick.
Yeah, the raffle.
And
a private dinner for two.
Right. And so then Matt won the raffle, and so he won the dinner, and he invited Carly to come with him for dinner.
Because it'd be weird if it was just like Matt sitting there by himself and Nick is serving him. That'd just be odd.
Right.
No, not in my book.
So then they go to the dinner, and we find out.
Again.
we go to the dinner, and then we find out that Matt isn't very adventurous in the food department, as opposed to Carly, who loves food.
Which means he's not very adventurous. Which means he's not very adventurous in bed. He just lays there.
Yeah. He likes no flavor whatsoever.
And so at one point, so as they're talking, we find out that Carly actually majored in fashion design. And so the reason why she canceled their date was because she was helping her cousin with her wedding. And so she canceled their date to go help her cousin. And she realized that she was good with styling weddings. And so that's how she got into that. So then Nick brings out chicken adobo. And I'm like, oh my God. I remember when I was a kid, when I was eating meat and we lived on Guam. And so we would get chicken adobo. Chicken adobo is so good.
Yeah, I'd like to have that.
Is that the thing that they had that was in that sort of big leaf that they opened up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what chicken adobo. I'm going to write this down. I want that.
Really good.
I got some Grubhub money to spend.
Put it this
chicken
way.
adobo. Okay, I got it.
And it's a Filipino dish. Put it this way. I don't eat meat. I would eat chicken. I would eat chicken adobo right now.
Doesn't work like that. You eat vegetarian adobo.
I would eat chicken adobo.
Tofu adobo.
I'm a vegetarian, but I have been known to sneak in and out every now and then.
You were
a Big Mac once in a blue moon.
You better not say this. People hear it.
I consider myself a dirty vegan.
Okay.
You know, so you cheat every now and then.
Well, I have a friend who calls himself a Chegan because he cheats on his veganism. So he's a Chegan.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So we're basically the same. I just call myself a dirty vegan. But yeah. Oh, so then and then Nick was calling his food Filipino fusion, which actually sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then we basically find out that Matt didn't eat any of the food, and we could see Carly getting turned off by that. Like the longer the dinner went, the more you could see her getting turned off.
Well, also you could tell that they didn't really have anything in common.
Right. So Matt's eating habits basically cock-blocked him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so then they go out to the lobby and they meet you-know-who.
Well, no, before that happened, there was this mad rush to end the dinner because Chef Edward is showing up. Because Nick was doing this on the DL behind Chef Edward's back. So the one of the servers there, who's Nick's friend, is like, he's coming, we got him, and they're rushing around to cover stuff up.
This woman really helps out Nick a lot. Yeah, the woman who works there, she's really on Nick's side quite a bit. Yeah, this Chef Edward, he's the real cock blocker. He's a cock blocker in every every level of life, it seems. Just a real buzzkill.
So then Carly, Carly at this point is like, you could tell she's like, maybe I'm not so into Matt as I thought. But then who walks up, and they both say the same thing about how they hate cilantro because it tastes like soap. I hate cilantro too. I get it. And and by the way, it's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
What's genetic?
It's totally a genetic thing.
Cilantro tasting like soap?
Tastes like soap to certain people. So it's a genetic thing, like if it tastes like soap to you or if it doesn't. And that's why the people that very actively hate cilantro, it's generally because they have that gene.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Because for me, it tastes like soap. I hate cilantro.
Oh, yeah? Huh. Mm-hmm. So their kids would almost guaranteed they would not like cilantro.
Right.
Well, I don't have that gene. I taste soap, but it tastes like cilantro. So I have that gene.
Oh, so then Nick...
It's a Hail Mary right there. Okay.
Nick brings Carly a special dessert. I was like, aw. And you can tell that Carly's starting to like him, too. And then he even gave her a little tiny fork. And I'm like, ooh, okay, Nick. Keep it. Good job. Yeah. Keep it going.
Risk of his job, though. He stole that from the kitchen. Chef Edwards, excuse me, I just counted the tiny forks. One's missing.
So then she then runs into Nick a little later, and we find out that Nick actually has a gig with her friend that day. And
the day of the wedding, by the way, the day of the reception, the day of his whole existence at this job is to cook for weddings. He said it several times in the movie. So he takes this side gig on the same day that he's got a wedding.
Self-sabotage.
And meanwhile, Carly was expecting a dress, she was getting a dress through Amazon, I guess, and the dress was not showing up on time. And so she had to run out and just buy some ugly dress.
Yeah, it was from her assistant in town. She was supposed to send it.
Okay, yeah. So she got this ugly dress, and she's like, Nick, my dress is really ugly. And Nick is like, well, why don't you spice it up? That's what you do. And then we get making an outfit montage, which was really good.
Oh, see, I actually wrote in my notes it was a pretty lame one because the montage was literally 2 quick cuts and it was over.
Well, okay, but for Hallmark, it's a step up from what we normally get,
I guess.
And there was a little song, so
it was something.
I was like, so there was a little song. So I'm like, okay, they're trying.
How did the song go, Les?
We're making a dress. How did it go?
No, I thought it was like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, or bum bum ba-da-da-da-da, like it was a sassy girl song.
Yeah.
I play that music whenever I make a dress.
Sharon Jones and Dap Kings.
Yeah, I get the sewing kit out. I don't use a sewing machine. I just do it by hand, and then I wear it in my private time. But anyway, let's not get into that. All right, next.
Wow.
I'm just kidding around.
Let's talk about Fred Gwynne again.
So Facebook really thinks they're going to get this outrageous.
I like this analogy because that Sid made, because she's talking to Sid, and Sid tells her, you're acting like a backup singer when you should be the main singer in this thing.
Well, Katie Seagal was a backup singer for Bette Midler.
Mm-hmm.
And look at her now.
Yeah. Sheryl Crow was a backup singer for Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Yes, she was. But so Sid's telling her, stop acting like a backup singer, go take the lead. You're talented. And so then she tells Sid that she's actually into Nick. And then Patricia, Nick's friend, was like, oh, hey, Carly, Nick just got back and he looks like he's very happy, so I think it went well. And so then he kind of rushed in, but Carly knew that he was late for work, so he kind of rushed by her, but she understood why.
Yeah, he looked a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But she was kind of like, he's probably, he's late. He needs, I'm just going to back off. And so then Lily Carly found Lily saw Carly and Matt talking, and she like kind of rushed out of the room. Carly noticed it. Carly went after her, and Carly was like, I know you still have feelings for Matt. And then Lily's like, yeah, but I dumped him. And then Carly's like, but still, you know what? Give it a try. And she's like, I'm not into him anyway.
Yeah,
I'm really not into him.
Get this wet blanket off of me.
Yeah.
Right. And then
It's getting chilly.
And then she said something which actually made sense, because I've done this myself. She said, I built the perfect person in my head, but then once I went out with him, I realized that we had nothing in common. Mm-hmm. And I've done that, where you see somebody, you have a crush on them.
Yeah.
You end up hooking up with them, and you're like, oh, God, it wasn't all that.
I think it's a normal human instinct to put all these expectations onto a person when you first meet them, be it romantic or otherwise. Like we sort of paint this picture in our head, and then we get upset that they aren't that picture that we painted in our head, where it's like, that was all our imagination.
And with her, it was probably worse, because she had a crush on him in college. So what would you say? This is probably like 10 years after they graduated.
Yeah.
This was probably like rumbling around in her head for like a decade.
Yeah. Holding on to that, huh?
Oh, but then we find out.
Yeah.
We find out that actually Lily dumped Matt, and he decided to date someone new, and so Carly was basically going to be the rebound chick anyway.
Yeah, because he was still hung up on her, on Lily.
Yeah.
Lily.
Yeah. So,
by the way, my mom's name is Lily, and my dad's name is Fred. I kid you not.
Really?
Yeah. True story.
That's great. At least his name is Herb.
Yeah, I know, right?
Lily.
Oh, so then Carly then takes Matt aside. And she's like, listen, it's not going to work between us. I know that you're still into Lily. And I love this part, because like Matt's like, yeah, and I know you're into Chef Nick. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So nobody was the villain.
Right. Nobody's ever the villain in a Hallmark movie. Ever.
Sure. Well, then he went over to her and started talking to her. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I only broke up with you because your penis was so small. You were hung like a light switch. And hung
like a light switch.
Yeah. That was an old Howard Stern joke. And she's like, but since then, every man I've been with has been bigger, but they haven't been as nice as kind as you. They've all been bigger, though.
Definitely bigger.
Hung like a light switch.
All right. And I don't want to hear about this. So that's the conversation that you didn't hear. But that's the conversation they were having. Yeah. In my mind.
Oh, so then we see Nick. He's in the kitchen, and he gets a call, and he takes the call in the kitchen, but then he gets a sad look on his face.
Yeah.
Acting.
And then we find out that, then we see Nick walking out, but he's in regular clothes. Mm-hmm. And so Carly's like, hey, what's up? And he says, well, Georgina passed. She didn't like my food. And then I got caught talking on the phone. And then one of the waiters ratted on me and said that I'm not sticking to the menu. And plus I was late, so Chef Asshole just fired me.
Yeah, there's the villain. He's a villain.
And he's like, and now I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a grandmother to take care of. I don't know how I'm going to take care of her. And it was all my fault for trying to think outside the box.
Yeah, he said he just dreamed too big. I was like, oh, that was a gut punch.
And then he left.
Damn.
And then we go 3 months later. And so we see Carly, and she's back in her office, and she's designing, and we find out she's become a designer. So she's doing it. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to Nick. We see Nick and he's at
Nick
a farmer's market.
Nick is living like Francis McDormand in Nomadland. He's living in his van and working Amazon over the holidays.
But he's at the farmer's market and he's looking at spices and he sees sesame and he remembers, oh, she had an allergic reaction. I miss her.
That's when I poisoned her.
Oh, I'm really sad about that time I almost killed that girl.
Wish I could do it again. Right. Just like she ruined my life.
So then Carly gets a call from Sid, and Carly's like, you know what? Or so Sid's like, you know what? Why don't you bring some of your designs up to the lodge and we can kind of do a pop-up shop. Mm-hmm. And Carly's like, sure, yeah. And so then Sid's like, hey, and maybe while you're up here, maybe you can find Nick and work things out. And so then she's back up north. We see Sid in this dress that looks amazing. She really did look amazing in that dress.
Yeah, fantastic.
She was hot.
And then Carly was like, oh, do you like this dress? I made it especially for you. And so then Sid's like, well, you know, I'd hate to waste this good dress. Why don't we go out to dinner? And so they go out to dinner.
At a new place on Maine.
At a new place on Maine. And they go to dinner and they sit down. And then all of a sudden we see the chef, Nick. And she sees, and so then Carly sees Nick. They start talking. Then his grandmother comes out and is like, is this her? His grandmother, who didn't look that old.
No. Well, he's not that old either.
I thought she was in assisted living. How did she get out?
Well, assisted living, like,
no, you can leave assisted living.
Yeah.
You can leave.
Was this approved?
It might not be assisted living. It might have been like senior living.
You can leave. Even my mom has dementia, and I could take her out.
She can leave.
As long as it's a relative, you can take them out.
I was just afraid she wandered.
I thought this was really cute though, because we find out that like Nick's got his restaurant. It's all Filipino fusion, and the name of the restaurant was The Tiny Fork.
And I wrote.
I mean, come on, that was so fucking cute.
Look, I wrote. Aww.
Didn't she see that when she was walking in? It was called the Tiny Fork.
She did not.
Yeah, she wasn't paying attention.
Maybe the font was so tiny she couldn't read it.
And so we find out, and so this was a cool ending actually, because we find out that Georgina, the woman who had him over, didn't like his food, but everybody else at the dinner did. So all the guests at the dinner invested in his restaurant.
Yeah. And flipped Georgina off as the restaurant took off.
Right. Because the restaurant was packed. It was packed. Mm-hmm. And so then
tiny listener.
Then they kissed, and it was over.
And it was a sexy kiss for Hallmark.
Yeah.
Like, normally the Hallmark kiss is pretty chaste and pretty, like, there we go. This was like, it wasn't like tongues, but it was like, there was heat.
Yeah.
They were up.
Yeah.
They were sucking face, like they said on Golden Pond. They like 3 times they were going at it. I suspect that these actors may have been
maybe
have a little something going on.
They had good chemistry.
This was hot.
Although usually real life couples don't seem to have chemistry on screen.
Well, in the beginning they do. Remember who said this? There was somebody who recently said this. Oh, it was Matthew McConaughey. He was talking about, he said, watch the movie where the couple are just getting together and they've got great chemistry. Mm-hmm. Then you watch the next movie, they're already together, and then they don't have the chemistry.
Yeah.
But the first one, they do.
Yeah, like Brad and Angelina is a great example of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie.
Same.
I
like the couple and all that. I thought Matt was a little bit. I thought that was underwritten. I thought I think they could have done. I know. There's been alternative arguments about that, but I think they could have made him a more. I would have liked to seen what all the ladies were interested in.
Oh, like a
I didn't get it.
Scene.
I wasn't getting it. No, I'm not asking for that. I'm saying, like, what was he providing? What did he do for a living?
Yeah, I don't know that we know if he had a job. You said earlier, Les, that he was gainfully employed. I don't know if they ever told us what, if anything, he does for a living. He mentioned going to golf a couple of times. He was really into golf.
Yeah.
I don't know what was so interesting. The only thing that was interesting was when he showed interest in, was that Lily, who was the ER?
Yeah.
So the fact that he was really impressed that she was an ER nurse, that was the first thing that actually said something about his personality, that was something that he was like, oh, I'm so impressed. Yeah. But there was just so little about him. I just didn't. He was just sort of like this smiling guy who was just like lumbering around. Mm-hmm. So I didn't like that. But I like the main couple were those people I very much enjoyed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It was good. So I hope Hallmark continues on this trend.
Oh yeah.
And so for our Lifetime movie, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to jinx us. Okay. But someone who we like has a brand new Lifetime movie coming out.
Okay. Fred Gwynne?
This weekend.
Fred Gwynne, yes, please let it be Fred Gwynne.
Fred Gwynne comes back from comes from beyond the grave.
wearing a black hoodie.
Yeah, he died years ago. Decades ago.
Yeah.
I just read that Heavy D died. I was like, oh shit, yeah. I forgot about that.
I didn't know he died.
Several years ago.
He died like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure either. I just read this. I read that. I guess I did know that, but yeah. Maybe years ago. But yeah, no, he's been gone for 10 years. Who knew?
I did.
Oh.
And then there's people like Beverly Cleary, like she was still alive. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Yep.
Now she died.
Yep. But she was like 90 something.
Yeah, I think she's 100. Yeah, something. She was up there.
Right. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook at Crocodile Barrett Presentations. Or you can find me at my website, lescrocodilebarrett.com. Jason.
Please do what you do. I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a moron as I speak. There's a weird like reverb coming back. Please give us a 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. It helps more people find the show. We have some cool things that we're trying to put together, so the more people we have, the better those things will be. You can find us all on Instagram at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
You can just look me up at kurtfitzpatrick.com. That's Kurt with a K. And I'm also seeking out acting jobs with Academy Award winning directors. So if anybody is listening, if you haven't won an Oscar, please don't bother. But if you have, contacted me and I could play a role in your film.
And if you're on Clubhouse, we have a Clubhouse room, a Lifetime of Hallmark, and we're going to start having Clubhouse discussions. And I did find out that, yes, you can record podcasts too, as long as you make it known that you're recording.
Yep.
So we'll have more of that as well. And if you like podcasts, I have 2 other podcasts. I have the Reality Reading Rainbow, where I talk about books written by reality stars. And I have the podcast Les Loves Soaps, where I talk about your favorite soap operas in the United States and the UK. Anything else?
That's all I got.
That's it for me.
All right, then until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.